It's Thursday, November 9th. This is the Scandalous Scandal recap. I am Larry Brown Jr. here with you live on YouTube right after the East Coast broadcast of our favorite show to watch on TV, joined by my fantastic friend, the Janiyah Wright. How are you?
Hey, LBJ. I am doing very well tonight. LBJ, winter is here in New York City. Okay. It is cold, but tonight, LBJ, my blood was boiling
Uh-oh.
as
So
I was watching.
no need for cuffing season for you, huh?
LBJ, as I was watching this episode, I was high, LBJ. So good. How are you tonight?
I am fantastic. Listen, tonight's episode was amazing. I got a big cup of nectar juice here. I don't want to see my nectar juice. Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh, shoot, it leaked. Okay, so nectar juice is on deck. All it is orange mango tango juice. There's nothing else added to that. And we are joined by some wonderful people in our live chat who are here with us every week, and some of them are here for the first time. Charlene McKinney is here. Normina's Harmony, Char 90303. Kat Harlem, Linda Gaston, watching from the West Coast, and she always watches us first, and then she watches Scandal. Grace is there, Kosua O, Stanley Johnson, Cassie Place,
Yay!
Inkwell, Mrs. Creole Davis, Catherine Belker, Coffee Light and Sweet, Sierra Bartlett, Virtuous Dewey is here. Who else do we have? Miss L is here. Talis Ferry is here. Love Prince Nelson. Hey. D Hill, you are live. What's up? D Hill is live with us tonight, everybody. Big applause for D Hill. If we had the button, we would push it, D Hill. We're so glad that you're here.
If we had any kind of sound effects, any at all.
That's all up to Google and YouTube. Listen, this is a free platform that we're using. There are no plugins, so gotta use what we've got. Go with what we've got. Janiyah, tonight's episode was Vampires and Bloodsuckers. OMG, we picked up where we left off last week with the explosion of your favorite President Foyne and his niece Foyne inside of the jet that is going to carry them back to the town and the land of perfect elite tea, Bashran, and the man was assassinated. Janiyah, take us on the journey of what happened after the plane blew up and all that unfolded.
LBJ, don't mind if I do. You know what, guys? This episode, I will say, I mean, every single episode is about relationships. But every single episode of the show is about relationships and how these characters are relating to each other. But tonight's episode, we saw these characters relating in ways that we have not seen before. And that is what made tonight so good, LBJ. So yes, we kick it off in the aftermath of the explosion of the plane. Now, we talked in the Scandal recap last week. We all had lots of theories. We were making guesses about who blowed it up that plane, LBJ. Now,
wait, hold on. Don't lean in and say that, because you remind me of some characters. Some other characters who support the current sitting leader, and they lean in and say words like that too. You don't want to appear like them.
Good
and now sit up here going like this. If you all know what I'm talking about, you can put it in the chat. I'm not saying their names.
All I know is I better lean way back if that's where your mind just went, and I should just never do that ever again.
You can do it, just don't lean in when you say load it up. Because he's gonna drop some bombs. That terrible mess. Anyway, horrible. I digress.
Yeah, but you don't, LBJ, because what we're talking about is shenanigans, okay? Shenanigans in Scandal Land. So we are now in the aftermath of the plane with President Foyne and his niece Yasmin on it, okay? They are gone. They are gone, LBJ. And last week we were making guesses about who did it. A few people in the chat said, we think Olivia did it. A few people in the chat said, you know what, maybe it was the rebels from the other side. LBJ, we didn't know who did it. I went as far as to throw Charlie in. I was like, maybe Charlie was in on it. I didn't trust him. LBJ, we didn't know what was going on. So in today's episode, we figured it out. We found out what happened. The show opens with Mellie, as usual, on the balcony. This balcony, I mean, this balcony is so funny how much of this story takes place on this balcony. Because the balcony, when you think about it, the balcony, it can be symbolic in so many ways. We know at least there have been epic moments of reckoning between Olivia and Fitz and Mellie and Olivia. There has been so much reckoning happening on that balcony. And we watch Mellie there staring out into space, LPJ. That's how the episode opened. When Mellie's just staring out into space with nectar just dripping down her face, LBJ. It was what we call residual nectar. Okay. Yes. That's what you have when nectar got thrown at you a couple days ago. And you're still just you're still managing the after effects of it. There was Mellie, LBJ, in the afterglow because her and President Fine, no, nothing really happened, but they pretty much said, hey, eventually something's going to happen, and hope will get you pretty far. So there she was, basking in hope, LBJ, and Olivia comes in and delivers the news to Mellie that, guess what? The plane has been blown up. President Fine is dead. His niece is dead. Our plans for the treaty are dead. Everything is dead, LBJ. What did you think of Mellie? I know you have another name for Mellie, LBJ, in that moment.
Madam President. Madam President. Remember Olivia had a red folder.
You know when the folder's red, that can't be good.
Exactly. That is a dossier that is no more. It is. Right. It has gone to file 13. It has been. It's been 86th. All of that stuff in between. Listen, in that moment, Mellie became "Don't touch me, Mellie," because she told Olivia. Olivia hits her with the Madam President, and she's like, she's stunned, taken aback because she sees the red folder. Yeah, the red folder, and she's just like, I can't take it mentally. Yes. And then she says to Olivia, call the FBI, get the CIA, get the State Department, get all the internal stakeholders together for this call so we can talk about this, and then we will decide and determine this plan of action. Shout out to my beard that's real like woofy right now. I just saw myself on camera.
LBJ, wait, before you continue, I might have a little reason why that beard is doing what it wants to do. LBJ, I think we need to tell the viewing audience something epic happened in the last couple of days, and that was LBJ's birthday, everybody. Oh! We don't have any sound effects, but if we did, up right now. So that's a party beard. That's what that is. We know what it is.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, please continue. Yeah.
So Mellie tells Olivia to get all the internal stakeholders on the phone or get them to get them to her office for conference. And she walks up to her and she's trying to come into manipulative sisterhood mode, and she reaches for her hands. And as she reaches for her hands, Mellie pulls back and she's like, "Don't touch me," as if she knows Olivia is the scum of the earth. She just killed these people. She knows that these people were murdered because of her desire and Olivia's action. She does not know who else is involved, but what she does know, thanks to the intel her ex-husband gave her last week, she does know that Jake is the new B613. I'd like to call B613. Let's rename it. Let's rename B613. Let's call it 017.
Break that down for us.
O for Olivia Pope. 11 being the month of the year, 11, which we are naming this operation that, and then 7 to represent the 7 seasons of Scandal, to represent the number of completion, to represent the number of perfection, because in her eyes, this entire thing is perfect. Every plan, every scheme that she works out, it is perfect to her. Hence 017. Applause for that. That's what we shall name it.
LBJ, you're getting support in the chat. D Hill is down. D Hills is picking up with the 017. People are supporting you, LBJ. And you know what?
Thank you for all the birthday love you guys are giving me too. To D Hill, Mrs. Creole Davis. Who else? Coffee Light and Sweet.
You got fireworks, LBJ. You know, we don't have any sound effects.
Everything, thank you guys. Charlene McKinney, y'all are here.
Emoticons. Yeah, you got mad emoticons, LBJ. You got confetti. Okay, you got cake. applauses, LBJ. People are loving you. We love you, LBJ. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. And
you got mad confettis.
If fact checker Frank could ring the doorbell, he'd ring the doorbell and remind you that they are now emojis. They've graduated from emoticons to Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for the birthday gift to me of not having fact checker Francois come in here and make me feel bad about myself.
Bonjour.
All right.
So yeah. So this whole thing, like, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, LBJ, at the end of the day, we need to start renaming things because paradigms are shifting. Okay? What was up is now down. What was on the left? Well, it's moved to the right, LBJ, because things are in bizarro land.
Guess what still remains? Guess what still remains, though? One being the hell and the high water. Never forget that. I'll bring that up later.
Had to be said.
Absolutely.
So let's keep going with the episode, LBJ. We could pretty much finish out this Mellie storyline pretty easily here. So Mellie, she is completely torn for a lot of reasons. Number one, she was very invested in that treaty because it was epic for the world, just from a peace perspective, but it was also epic for her because that was going to solidify her relationship with her new number one boo. And so LBJ, not only did she lose the number one boo, but she was losing the thing that was going to be her stamp on history, on the history of the world. Mm-hmm. And so we watch her dealing with this, LBJ, throughout the episode. She's fighting with Olivia a little bit about how to handle the remains. Her emotions are just so raw. Olivia's trying to keep her rational and making sure that things have to be done. Things that have to be done are done. Olivia, unfortunately, though, is not able to be by Mellie's side day in and day out. And Mellie has become a fence in that she can't make decisions without Olivia telling her what to do. She just can't. And so here she is, scatterbrained and having no idea how to make decisions the whole day Olivia's away. We'll talk about what Olivia was up to a little later. But we watch Mellie go through her Rolodex to try to figure out what she's going to do. Okay, we see her number one, LBJ. We see her talk to who? Jake. She calls up Jake, LBJ, and she says to Jake, hey, Jake, I know about your extracurricular activities. There's conversations off the record, Jake, but I just want to say, if I needed to, off the record, overthrow those people who overthrew my number one boo that's now dead, would you be able to help me with that? And Jake said, well, there are lots of things. I'm paraphrasing. There are lots of things that I do in my extracurricular time, but I only do them at the will of my extracurricular boss. And that is not you, girlfriend. And he basically says, oh, no, you're not going to be directing B613, Mellie. Olivia is command, okay? So that didn't work. Mellie then, she tries to have a little power play. She goes and talks with, one of the delegates from Bushron, and she sends a threatening message to the ambassador. She sends a threatening message to the people that overthrew President Fine. LBJ, that didn't work. It's not resonating. No one cares, Mellie. LBJ, and then she sought counsel from none other than who, LBJ? Your best friend and mine.
Oh, yes, the one and only Lawn Chair episode premiere debut guy, Marcus Walker.
LBJ, what did you think of that scene?
So when
break it down, LBJ, break it down.
Mellie is all kinds of caught up. She's verklempt Mellie. She is don't touch me Mellie. Grace in the chat says that Mellie turned into mean mug Mellie. Shout out to the narration too. I like that, Grace. But Mellie is all these different layers and types of Mellie. And while she's being that layer type of Mellie, all those different layers and types of Mellie, she's like, escape. Who do I run to? Who can I run to? Who can she run to? And you know who she run? That was good, Janaya.
You know me and my friends had full choreography to that song back in the day. That's what you need to know. We had choreography, all starting with our back to the audience, turning to the front one at a time. Okay.
Were you the one that stood contemplating? Were you the first one? As I stand here contemplating.
LBJ, what are you kidding? They saved me for the breakdown. You know I had the. I'm not the opening lyrics. Who are you talking to? No, I'm not the opening line.
You always close out a song.
LBJ, I'm the hook. I'm the breakdown. What is this? Oh my gosh, that's another chat. Please continue. And I was a choreographer.
Oh.
Using my good choir choreography that I learned. With the one arm. LBJ, we were bringing the spirit, okay, and bringing the sexy simultaneously. So anyway, please continue.
So Mellie singing "Who Can I Run To" when she needs love and advice. Not only does she need love, but she also needed advice.
She does. Can't get either. Yeah.
Marcus Walker. Marcus is in some like nondescript, like a location that's being moved. There's a big office move going on. There's like a sign and some office chairs left. It's like a random piece of set. They had a lot like real quick. We just need a place for him to wait. And they come in like, sir, and he's like, what is it now? And he knows. In my mind, I'm like, wait a second, are they trying to connect Marcus to something? Like, is this a trick of the enemy to put this black man in the streets? Like, what is going on? And I said, nope, that's not what's going on, because he was too comfortable to go to these people. So my mind dismissed that immediately. I'm like, okay, he knows what's going on. Secret Service. Mellie wants him. Mellie takes him, and he's in the back seat, and he puts on his tap shoes and pulls a slice of watermelon. He's like, what do you want, Mellie? And Mellie's like, I need some advice. Oh, you just want me to you want to just pick me up whatever you want to, Mellie? And essentially that's what how the conversation started off. And he really was just very short with her. No emotion, no connection in his conversation to Mellie. So Mellie really was solo dolo Mellie. She was alone Mellie. She was lonely Mellie. That's what we'll call her, lonely Mellie. Lonely Mellie, because she was seeking Marcus's advice, but she was also seeking his advice. And with his advice, he gave her what she needed. He gave her very straight to the point answers. And he's like, look, listen, you got to lead these people. I'm doing my best to give you my best advice. I won't connect with you because I know you want my advice, and I'm not going to give you my advice. And I got to get out this car because my advice is off limits to you. She wasn't getting the advice.
No.
And that was the end of the conversation. And she even tries in one nonverbal move. She really tried one last time to just dive off the cliff. Have him come rescue her in a parachute of love. And she says, it's so lonely sometimes. He's like, in a good old Detroit way, he says, it's lonely at the top. I'm out, like, Marcus, out. And that's what the conversation between Marcus and Mellie was. Janiyah, were you rooting over there? Were you clapping? Were you glad that he was no longer in the Mellie web?
Well, you know what, LBJ? Marcus already knows that everything he does, I mean, he's cursed. Okay, he cheated on me. Okay, he didn't give me the attention and love that I deserve. So no, I don't want him to be with Mellie. He doesn't deserve Mellie. I want him to be alone, LBJ, and that'll teach Marcus a valuable lesson for playing my face in my imagination. Now, LBJ, I will also say this. That scene to me was very deep for a couple of reasons. Because, you know, at the end of the day, Mellie literally had no one else to turn to. The only other person that I thought she might go to for counsel, LBJ, was Fitz. And that, I actually expected the next scene to be her talking to Fitz and trying to get advice from him. But I think that scene was important for a couple of reasons. Number one, it showed us how few resources Mellie has. And those are the kinds of things that make her so dependent on Olivia. The other thing it was, LBJ, was I believe Shonda Rhimes, once again, using her platform to show the burden of what it is to be a woman in leadership, to be a woman in power. You know, we all want the best for Mellie, but at the same time, we don't think she's ever going to get it. And it's not because she doesn't deserve it, LBJ. We have watched her stand in the face of rape, from a family member and do what she felt was right for the family, right for the country, right for the future that she wanted for herself, LBJ. We watched her deal with these wounds. Nobody gave her any Neosporin, okay? Those wounds are just sitting there drying up all crusty, okay? Didn't heal well, okay? Scars everywhere, all right? And so we're rooting for Mellie, but at the same time, we aren't optimistic. And so, LBJ, that scene was deep for me, but it wasn't because necessarily of the Mellie-Marcus relationship. It was because of Mellie as an individual and as a solitary woman, a leader, and just her isolation. Her isolation, as she says it, she says, I'm in crowds all the time and I'm so alone. And so, LBJ, that pretty much wraps up Mellie's storyline. I mean, at the end of the episode, we see, Mellie, do what she has to do. She sets aside her romantic, her number one boo is gone. She's mourning that. Okay, but she sets aside that personal stuff and she does what is right for the future. She does what is right for the country. She does what Marcus recommended she do. And she strikes a balance with, the new leaders of Bosharon. And so, LBJ, that's how that storyline wrapped. It was Mellie's isolation and Mellie taking a big girl pill. And that big girl pill, that's a hard pill to swallow. So that was Mellie tonight, LBJ.
Applause for Janiyah. I found a sound effect. Applause for Janiyah. That was a wonderful recap. Yes, real applause for Janiyah. Using her platform moment that you took, and you took the stage and you stood and you leaned into the camera and you elongated your neck with the perfect lighting and you stood up for the plight of the woman, Janiyah. Congratulations.
Thank you, LBJ. And let me tell you, people in the chat, they want to talk about Mellie. I mean, Cassie Place says, I thought Mellie was going to join the dark side with Liv. We're feeling like Mellie's future is known yet unknown, LBJ. And that is what makes this character so good right now. There have been points in the show where we were over Mellie, but now she's so complex, she's so complicated that this character is keeping us hooked.
I'll tell you, that's the beauty, I think, in Mellie's character, because you feel so many different emotions from her. I mean, Mellie has been, the darkest Mellie has been is being in on the entire Defiance plan. She was in on Defiance, and that's pretty much it. Outside of Defiance, Mellie's hands are clean outside of the list of Mellies that we know, but that's also part of the reason that we love Mellie, because there's so many different layers to her. We get to name her, we get to label her. Not that we're into labeling, but it really helps us connect with whatever it is that she's feeling and she's experiencing, because she essentially is a gentle pulse on this show. She is a baseline that is consistent every single episode. You know when she's going to get hurt. You know when she will get emotional. You know when she's going to try to stand firm. You know when she's not confident about what she's doing, but she's going to take that leap of faith and put herself out there. That's what we love about Mellie. And I think that's what the people in the chat as well are agreeing with, is that Mellie allows a viewer, especially a woman viewer, to really connect with all of the nuances that make a woman. And I think that's what that's the folks in Shondaland behind the scenes are intentionally creating when we have a Mellie character. So shout out to everybody involved with Mellie. Very, very good, Janiyah.
Yes, and LBJ, and LBJ, we've talked over the years about doing something over the winter break, and I think this could be something that we might explore.
This is our last chance. How about that?
Because the show was #over. Yeah, LBJ, because we could actually spend a whole chat just dissecting Mellie. There's so much there. I mean, we could spend time digging on these characters, and almost to pay homage to the show as it's wrapping. Sarah Bartlett is saying, but Mellie has always made sacrifices that the people who really matter, for the people who really matter to her, but the people who really matter to her never asked her to do it until now. Marcus's advice really made, like Janiyah said, made her finally grow up and control her destiny. And it's so true, LBJ. She has always been in a tough spot, but there are things right now that are pushing Mellie toward the limit. Grace is highlighting the fact that we are seeing her creeping into the dark side. Grace says that Mellie has already taken steps in that direction in the last episode. She tried to flex on Jake tonight, and he slapped her back into place. So she's trying to creep to the dark side. The dark side's rejecting her.
Yes, anyway, exactly. That's that side I was talking about, where she's not really confident, but she takes that leap of faith, not knowing where she's going, hoping that there's going to be a mat or some kind of soft ground there.
Anything. Styrofoam, bubble paper.
Something. Okay. Something other than a rock that can cry out for you in your death.
That's right. Absolutely. A mattress. Okay, I mean, any manner of things. She just would like anything, but none of it's there, LBJ. And LBJ, that might be the segue, LBJ, and on the topic of things missing. Okay, that might be the subject, the way that we can transition to the primary storyline of the evening, which is that
oh gosh.
I know this is going to be hard, LBJ. Oh wait, there's one important piece of the Mellie storyline we have to mention now. I almost forgot. It's the most important part. We did find out, LBJ, who killed the president. We did find out who killed President Fine.
Oh, well, there's no reason to go backwards, because we can incorporate that into this leg of the story, because that's directly connected to the big thing. Where is she? That's
You're
the
right.
big question at the end of the episode.
That's the big question.
Where is she?
Yeah.
The big question. Shout out to Well, shout out to Talis Ferry, as well as Normina's Harmony and D Hill, for all shouting out Quinn in some way. Some of them, a couple of them, Janiyah, were directly targeting you.
Oh my gosh!
But they were in your support. They were in support of your argument. One saying, I ain't over here crying over Quinn. The other one, another comment said something along the lines of, we know Janiyah's crying over Quinn missing, and then D says, R.I.P. Quinn Robin Lindsay at Larry Brown Jr. Listen here. Okay, it's sure as that says Larry Brown Jr. right there. Quinn Robin Lindsay is living on this show. She is not dead. She is alive. They're not going to kill Quinn and that baby. If they kill Quinn and that baby, that is something good. And that's something, it's the wrong show. It's for Grays. You get people, a mother and a baby will die on Grays, not on Scandal. Okay?
Oh, LBJ. See, now when you start to talk about the baby,
I hate to be so morbid. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Grays deals with that kind of tragedy. It has its place. Grey's Anatomy is that place. Scandal is not the place for Quinn and her baby to go missing and be dead. No, not at all. So back to what's going on here. So we know last week that Quinn was standing on the tarmac when the airplane with President Foyne and niece Foyne got on the plane and the plane exploded, right? We also know that Quinn Robin Lindsay is in on everything, all things Olivia, because she is her professional, her adult muse. She is the one who inspires Olivia inspires Quinn Robin Lindsay. She literally worships the ground she walked on. She literally sits in the seat that she sat in before she left to go work in the White House, Olivia Pope. Quinn sits in that seat. So we have all these little pieces of these little bullets to this overarching theme, this overarching question, where is she? Well, we're asking where is she? We're asking where Quinn is, because by the end of the episode, Quinn is married. This episode was technically dedicated to the wedding of Quinn and Charlie. They were going to have a nice, quaint ceremony with Quinn's family, the OPA folks, who were in our QPA, plus Olivia would be there, and I believe Jake was going to be there as well. And they are literally getting ready for Quinn and Charlie's wedding in the conference room. You know, the conference room with the nice, wonderful wood grain table and that wall that you can take and put all that nice adhesive, expensive, fancy printer.
Magical paper from the magical printer.
Up there. That's the conference room where they were going to get married. And they had nice, well-appointed macarons on a tree. They had a little cake. They had pinafores. They had crudité. It was there, small bites. There, it wasn't even a full gentrified wedding. It was just like, hey, listen, we want to go somewhere between the Justice of the Peace and doing a Knights of Columbus bingo hall wedding. And they met right there in the middle of it, and it was a perfect wedding scenario for someone who doesn't have family in Washington, D.C., and someone who's a former member of B613. Now, when we look at all of that, we put that together, you wrap it up. Olivia, Quinn is reaching out to Olivia. Olivia's like, oh, Quinn. Janiyah mentioned earlier, Olivia's trying to help Quinn get ready for the wedding. And she's like, she needs something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. What does Olivia do? She calls who? The Smithsonian. We know she knows people at the Smithsonian, right?
She does.
She calls her friends at the Smithsonian. And when she calls them, she gets a rare hair clip worn by some famous woman in history. We don't know what the hair clip was for, but there's this hair clip that probably does not exist in the Smithsonian, and they made this whole thing up.
But LBJ, I just really quickly, I just want to put a pin in there really quickly, LBJ, because in the event that you have the opportunity to access the inventory of the Smithsonian to get me a gift, even if it's just a loaner, do not give me a little ass hairpin. That's all I'm saying. I just feel like she could have done better. If you had the whole Smithsonian at your disposal, LBJ, I mean, that's multiple museums. That's not one. That's a whole lot of inventory, LBJ.
So you can get a portrait from the Portrait Gallery. You can
get
something from the Museum of African American History and Culture. You can have something from the African Museum. You could have something from the Air and Space Museum. I mean, you name it, you got it.
Yeah, I mean, all kind of ancient bric-a-brac is available. Okay, so just make a note, LBJ. When you have an opportunity to access an heirloom, let's make sure it, is something just a little bit more significant. That's all I wanted to say.
Well,
all
listen,
right,
I'm sure with Olivia, it's probably going to either be a hairpin or a dinosaur bone, and those dinosaur bones are occupied right now, so she can't give away a dinosaur bone. So Olivia and Quinn meet in the night at one of the memorials on the National Mall. It's one of those memorials. I cannot remember which one it is. I see it, like I know where it is. It's right next to the tidal basin, and you drive right past it. There's no statue in the middle of it, but it's kind of in the same zone of the Lincoln Memorial, but closer to the water. Anyway, I'm doing too much talking, trying to jog my memory for the name of the memorial. They meet there to discuss.
Ooh, LBJ, Tall Delta 55 is throwing something out. Did the pin contain a device of some sort?
That's my mom too. Look at my mother trying to crack the code.
Oh, okay, Mama. Okay, Mama Pat. All right. Did the pin contain a device? This is intriguing. Okay, please continue.
Hold on to that, guys. So we've got Olivia and Quinn meeting under this memorial in the night. And Quinn's pregnant. It's the night before her wedding. Olivia is going down all these lists. And then Quinn just breaks her silence. And she doesn't break her silence in fear. No, she doesn't have cold feet. She says that she doesn't have cold. Well, Charlie even says that Quinn didn't get cold feet. Quinn essentially tells Olivia, how could you stand here?
Oh!
How could you stand here? How could you be looking at me like this? How could you be doing this when I know that you had something to do with the explosion of that plane, with that innocent child on there, that teenage child who was about to graduate, that girl who was planning her future, that girl who just discovered herself, that girl who I connected with because this was going to be my project. She was going to be my success story. I work with you. She admires you. Therefore, she admires me. I can give you to her without you having to be directly connected and you don't even know about it. This is why she's so passionate about this. And Olivia is just like, whatever you think you heard, you didn't hear it. And this is what it is. Don't check your facts. Don't believe fake news. Don't do any of that stuff, Quinn, until you were really, really sure. And she's like, I know you. I know you dabble in darkness. You once wore the white hat. But as Candace Brown said in here, she said Olivia has returned all of her white garments. She has no more white garments. They're gone. And that's what Quinn believes Olivia has done as well. And she even tells her, one of my favorite lines in that whole moment there that they had, she tells her, she says, OPA was supposed to be for justice. It wasn't for justice. QP, she said, your OPA wasn't for justice, but my QPA, it will be. I was just like, Oh man, because she knows Olivia. She's Quinn. Remember, Quinn is also B613. Quinn got the B613 training. She just wasn't put in the hole. She didn't go into the bowels of any kind of system.
Yeah, she didn't go into the hole, LBJ. But I would say that she's had enough exposure at this point, LBJ, that even I, who was very reluctant to allow her to wear, that label, I would have to say, LBJ, that she's been through enough at this point that we would go ahead and allow her to be a B613, because we do know at least that she has a guy that will come out when it's time for murder. So yeah, she did develop her B613 skills, LBJ. I have to agree with you there.
Absolutely. So we've got that whole conversation that happens.
But LBJ, can I just emphasize something in that scene really quickly? Now, everyone, I think we can all remember, okay, from just, the last couple of episodes where, Olivia Pope has been having various conversations with one Eli Rowan Pope, her father, formerly known as, is the villain formerly known as Command, okay? LBJ, we see her father and her tussling over the last couple of episodes. And what's the fight been? The fight has been Eli Rowan Pope telling Olivia, listen, the role of Command is what it always has been. It's what I designed it to be. And it is what it can only be. It can't be something else. And what has Olivia been saying to him? Oh, I know what your version of Command was. Mine's going to be different, LBJ. That's what she was saying to him. And then, just as she was saying that to him, we've watched her slipping into the muck and becoming same old business as usual Command, LBJ. As she's actually been in the moment and had to make Command level decisions, she's making the same decisions that her father would have made back when he was in power. And so when Quinn turns to Olivia and tells her that her creation, she says, your OPA was never about justice, but mine will be. LBJ, I mean, that was hashtag poetic, okay? Because that was just everything once again coming full circle. Just as she's standing in her father's face, saying she's going to overcome him and his legacy, Quinn is looking her in her face and saying her legacy is going to be overtaken, LBJ. I thought that was very important. Didn't want us to miss that. I would also just say that as Olivia power walked her way away from the memorial, she said to Quinn, I suggest you move on, right? She said to Quinn, listen, it is what it is. Here we are. These are the decisions that have to be made. I don't have a choice. This was the right thing to do based on the values that govern Command and govern the piece of the earth as we deem it. And Quinn, don't you cry over this spilled milk. Move on. LBJ sounds a lot like something her father told her many moons ago. So LBJ, hashtag poetic.
It's hashtag poetic, Janai, and I was going to bring that same kind of concept up to the audience as well, to the conversation as well. However, I also want to add that we also got a chance to see Quinn Robin Lindsay become a woman in that moment. She said to her, she said, I respected you. I looked up to you.
Yes.
She's giving her all. She's laying it all on the table as one would on the night before their wedding. They understand that I am about to cross into a threshold of a new spiritual experience, a new relational experience, and I need to rid myself of these things. And if I have this baggage, this pain, this disheartenment, if that's a word, if I have this anguish, I don't want to belabor any kind of burden. I don't want to be burdened by any thought that could belabor anything in my life. So let me rid myself of it. Olivia, I once cared. You were number one stunner to me, Olivia. and you have fallen from that number one son of status because of what you did to this innocent child. I thought we wore the white hat. You brought me here to do this. You brought me here to do that. And just as sure as Quinn goes to her and relieves herself of this feeling, this hurt that she has, this anger, this frustration, the questions that she needs answers to immediately, Olivia comes and lays a smack down like no other. And I think that was one of my favorite moments of this season. I mean, of this scene, is the way Olivia shut Quinn Robin Lindsay up. She said to her, you all know I love Quinn Robin Lindsay. I love her. But the way Olivia came back at her was amazing, because she literally said, hey, listen, I'm going to remix the statement of the Hell and High Water and bring it closer to home to you and let you know how I have impacted your life. And I'll drop the mic and I'll leave. And I suggest you move on. That's how she wrote it. She wrote out, it was like her father on another level.
Yeah, she sure did, LBJ. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you highlighted that. This is just Olivia becoming her father. And LBJ Tichelle says, Liv took Quinn's former life, so Quinn will take Liv's life. Aha! Oh my gosh, LBJ, there are some theories now, coming out in the chat.
There are theories coming out, but the one theory that we need to figure out is, why is she gone? And then once we figure out why is she gone, we have to continue to ask the question, where is she? And we're still asking, where is she? Because after Quinn and Olivia have this conversation, we see Quinn again later in the episode preparing for her wedding. It is her wedding day. She has on her wedding gown. She's got her belly there. She's sitting very contemplative at the window. It might be a little rainy day. Might be a little rainy day there.
Did you say she had her belly there?
Her belly was there. Yeah, her pregnant belly.
Like it was an accessory, an optional.
Right, exactly. Yeah. The belly was there.
It was. Good point. Facts are facts.
And she says, I mean, she's there just kind of like looking out the window. And we believe that she's going to go to the chapel, and the conference room chapel, and get married. And the next thing you know, we're waiting for, the macarons in place. The ivy has been strung across the ceiling of the room to make it look like a little garden. The candles are in the middle of the conference room table. All the guests are gathered. The officiant is there. Huck is the maid of honor and the best man. Imagine that. And they are there to have the highest class wedding you could see in a conference room. And then immediately they realize they might have a runaway bride on their hands, because Gabby Abby Red reveals that Quinn is gone. Not only is Quinn gone, but Quinn left her engagement ring behind. Immediately, Huck goes into play with Olivia. Olivia's looking scared, like I don't know what, because she's like, did the Basharani rebels come and take Quinn? Because there have been talks of these Basharani rebels, and this whole like rumors of wars going on Scandalous as well. Then we have we've got Charlie, who's just like, oh, where's my boo? Oh, where's my boo? Oh, where's my boo? Oh, where's my boo? And he can't take it. He's about to start 752ing because he can't find his boo. Then you've got Gabby Abby Red looking around. They're like, get back to the office. Let's figure it out. What do they do for Quinn because Quinn is missing? They use the magical printer with the magical paper, and they try to start figuring out her last known whereabouts, security footage. They're taking stills. They're taking Post-its, cell phone records, all of these different things, these different tricks that B613 has taught them to figure out where she is. Do they find out where she is? They do not find out where she is, but they do find out, though, that there was blood at the scene of her apartment to look as if a scene was cleaned up. But we learned that there may not have been any blood at her apartment because there was footage that was erased, but then somehow unerased and then rescrambled to unscramble and put back inside the eggshell to figure out that Quinn Robin Lindsay actually made it to OPA QPA. She made it onto the elevator, and then the footage cuts out from there. So we don't know if a haunted ghost was in the wall of the elevator and grabbed her and took her back. We don't know if she got off on the floor at QPA and someone's waiting for her and took her back down the elevator into a black van off somewhere. We don't know. It could have been Mama. It could have been Papa. It could have been Olivia. It could have been Olivia and Daddy working together, because we don't know what happened after that fight. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Maybe, just maybe, the hairpin that she gave her, that she most likely put in her hair, definitely was a GPS device, and they know where she is because that hairpin is in her hair, and they are going to trace her. Now, the Smithsonian's going to be looking for said headpin because we know it's an official. But maybe it's not a Smithsonian headpin. It could be a Smithsonian hairpin. Why she had to sign for it to make sure that it was Olivia that got the package. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat?
LBJ, we don't know. It's so good. But there's one thing that we do know from watching this episode. I mean, LBJ, people are guessing. Tashelle is questioning, did Liv kidnap Quinn? Rakira is saying, Rakira is asserting that Quinn is with Papa Pope. You know, Tall Delta 55 already has guessed that maybe Papa Pope took Quinn. You know, so LBJ, you know, the theories are out there. There's one thing we don't have to theorize about, and that is about Huck having another guy that we haven't met before. Okay, we've met Huck's murderous guy. Okay, that guy comes out any old time we need him to. Okay, we know the murderous guy will cut off a finger. Okay, he will, you know, slice a person, shoot a person, you know, cut a person up, melt them down with acid. LBJ, we met another one of Huck's guys tonight, and this is Party Planner Huck. Who knew? Who knew, LBJ, that there was a Party Planner Huck? He was buzzing around that office, coordinating the HE double hockey sticks out of that wedding. One of the caterers was like, where did the macaroons go? And Huck goes, the macaroons go on the macaroon table, duh. LBJ, he was so in it, okay? And thank you. I think it was Rakira in the chat that just was like, thank goodness they didn't do something cliche like Quinn running off with Huck, you know, because we got to see Huck not only be invested in this marriage, he was coordinating the wedding day. That to me was so surprising. It was so delightful, and it was wonderful to see the joy in Huck. There was also another person that was experiencing joy toward the beginning of the wedding planning scenes, not so much toward the end. But LBJ, that was Charlie. Now, you know that I have not trusted Charlie. And I'm going to go ahead and say I still don't trust Charlie. Okay? But I do.
You are not alone. I am here with you. Your thoughts aren't far away. Charlie may not be here to stay. Continue.
LBJ, Charlie, you may not be here to stay because you cannot hashtag be trusted. LBJ, he was emoting, you know. The whole beginning, oh, I just love me some Quinn. Oh my goodness. I wrote my vows 18 times. Oh, and then I said, you know what? I'm just going to speak from the heart. He's confiding in people, LBJ. You know, he's also, you know, just taking every opportunity he can to talk about how excited he is and how much, you know, he didn't think this day would come. LBJ, only for us to watch him by the end of the episode be so overcome with anger and frustration that his murderous guy ends up coming out. We'll get to that in a second. And we watch him at the very end, LBJ, have something that we would call a good old breakdown, where he just explodes, LBJ, and starts throwing things hither and thither and storming to and fro. And the only person that can calm him down is Huck with some bourbon or some other such strange, you know, strong alcohol. So LBJ, let's talk about really quickly some of the things that happened as they were investigating, looking for Quinn. Now, this entire time that this is happening, no one in OPA.
Wait, I want to just pause and add something real quick though. Before you go into OPA and Quinn, remember, let's go back to not trusting Charlie. I don't trust Charlie because at some point, a part of me felt as if we were witnessing a bunch of bad acting. And if that was the case, like all of that, where is she? I want to see where she is. Take me to where is that bad acting or is that him really like caring and loving her? We know what she's done to his heart, his B613 heart. We know that, but we also know Charlie never really left. Charlie was one of the 3, 4 that survived. Yeah, they were all taken away. Charlie remained. He was the one. He was part of the rest that remaineth.
Yep. Okay? And LBJ, he remaineth, and this is why he is a part of the larger theory that I shared last week about all of these B613s eventually bringing themselves right back on home to Papa Pope. You know, does this power ever really change hands? Maybe not, you know? And so LBJ, we watched throughout the course of the wedding, the non-wedding, okay? We watch a couple of relationships. The first one we watch is David and Abby. And we really need to find the sad trombones because nobody likes David Rosen. David Rosen, why do you just wander the earth? He just wanders the land, going from woman to woman who doesn't really want or value him. And then they just use him up, and LBJ, they toss him to the side. So Abby at the beginning of the episode, she's totally playing his face. Like, oh, I know I'm in my cute wedding dress, but don't get caught up in me, boo. Okay, because you and I, we are not happening. By the end, she's so heartbroken over Quinn. Who does she run to? She runs to David Rosen. Okay. And so there they are now kissing at the end. The other relationship that we watched really be impacted by all of this was Cyrus's relationship with the millionaire. At the beginning of the episode, we see Cyrus and the billionaire, you know, just canoodling at his place. LBJ, people in the chat got a kick out of watching the billionaire in his apron. Mrs. Creole Davis said, let's take a moment to talk about Uncle Daddy Fenton in the 6-pack apron. Okay. People were loving him in his apron, LBJ.
Yeah, listen, Fenton Glackland in that apron, that was something hilarious to me because he was acting as if it really was his body swaying around, like he was trying to move his body. And then Cyrus walked up and he felt some kind of way. You know, he got a little it just took him back. And no telling what kind of romp they had the night before, how many times they romped. Who knows? And so Cyrus is going around skipping and gloating. And I thought we were going to have to do another For the D challenge for Cyrus because there was a moment where we thought Cyrus might tell Uncle Daddy the American secrets. Cyrus did not yield the secrets. He essentially told him, he used part of the episode of the episode title, and he's like, there are vampires in a lair that is up under the White House, and we have to go figure it out. He essentially told him Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall, and Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and the king's men really didn't tell anybody. And it's just like, and Uncle Daddy's like, come on, man, like, get me in, get me a clearance. I want to be your shadow. I want to be your mentee. Let me sit at your feet. Let me kiss the pinky ring.
Whatever.
And Cyrus is like, no, this does not happen in America. And I'm just like, again, we are babying the 45th person to sit in the lead office in real life. And we're using this guy as the whipping boy for it. Not only did he become the whipping boy in that moment, he also was the whipping boy later in the episode because we heard about Charlie and his murderous ways that showed themselves. But was it really Charlie's murderous way? Was Charlie really stalling? We've never seen B613 get a bag of oranges and start hitting somebody with a bag of oranges. It's like, oh, let me hit you with these oranges. Let me hit you with these oranges. Oh, these are just oranges. And let me fake like I'm going to saw your wrist off. I'm not going to really take this triple ice pick and gorge your guts, you throw it out. No, I'm not going to do that because I'm waiting for someone to come in and stop me because I know how this whole plan is going to work out, Charlie.
Ooh,
maybe. But maybe. Uncle Daddy is there about to be killed, Dexter style, because the plastic is up on the wall, up on the floor. And he tells him, he's like, listen, I don't know who this Quinn Perkins woman is, but let me tell you, back when I was a kid, when I was a young buck, down in the sticks somewhere south of the Mason-Dixon, I was there, and I will tell you, I never got to fight in elementary school. I never called anybody a name. I never bullied anybody because, no. I'm a coward. I didn't do nothing. I'm a coward. Don't you know I'm a coward? I said, oh, another dig
Oh
on
my
the
gosh.
one who, think about it. Think about how they've been using this character in a certain way.
LBJ,
You know? And we had another mention about something else tonight, too.
Somebody else in the chat was calling out the fact that maybe the oranges themselves were symbolic of a certain someone.
Yes. Who said that? I love it.
I was trying to find it and scrolled away. Again, we're using this free platform. It does a lot of things.
Invite us to a focus group, please, so that we can give you our feedback. We would tell you how to make this thing work wonders on no budget.
Please let us just a couple of things. Just a couple of tweaks would just really, really take this to the next level. But LBJ, at the end of the day, we are watching this billionaire, okay? And listen.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I want to say one last thing about the 45. So, no, while Charlie was in there with him, with the billionaire, he's taking him and he says something to him and he's like, yeah, how's that for fake news? He says that to him. And I'm just like, if this is not the character that we are watching, you guys are brilliant for the way that you're going out doing this. I'm sorry. I cut you off. Go ahead.
LBJ, I was just going to say, LBJ, the chat is so good right now. Mrs. Creole Davis is saying she still believes it's Huck's baby. Oh, my gosh. Oh, it's just, there's so much scandal to
now, that's that decipher. Talk show scandal right there. That's like, Huck,
so
you are the father.
Maury Povich, stop it, Maury Povich. LBJ.
I'm not Maury, I'm Murray. Murray.
LBJ, that scene to me, let me tell you why that scene was interesting. One of those people in that scene, either the billionaire or Charlie, my theory, one of them is working with Papa Pope. One of them. I don't know who it was, but one of them can't be trusted. I think it would be such a twist if it turned out to be Charlie that couldn't be trusted, because we're watching him become someone that we can trust.
But don't killers in real life act as if they didn't have anything to do with the situation. I mean, we had a scenario here in the DC area where this woman was a school teacher in Maryland. I think it made national news. They went so far as to do a press conference with this woman's fiance who was pregnant. The woman was pregnant with his baby. They did a press conference with his mother, father, and the fiance. When it all boiled down to it, do you know that the fiance was the one who killed the wife? Who killed his fiance? But he stood in a press conference like, please come back. We miss you. I'm telling you, sometimes killers are right among you. And it's like playing the game Clue. Who done it? Who done it and where is she?
Who done it, LBJ? And LBJ, we know that there are some people here lying, LBJ. And I wonder, do we hit the main points, LBJ? Because I have some theories that I want to get to.
So we pretty much hit all of the main points.
Curtis. We didn't talk about Curtis, LBJ. That's the one last person.
Gotcha. Bring him in.
Okay. So during the course of things, again, we're investigating. We're going to various locations. Okay. We're printing papers. We're sticking them on the glass. All right. There we are investigating. Where's Quinn? What might have happened? We're watching Olivia while all this is unfolding, doing a couple of things. Number one, she's going in the bathroom and having palpitations because she's worried that all of the super skills that she has taught her team are going to come back to bite her, because she's worried they're going to figure out that she is the one that killed president, that she's the one that blew up the plane. So we're watching her just be, she's so overcome. The other thing that happens, LBJ, where we were watching Olivia just, be livid and just so nervous, is when Curtis, the reporter, comes into OPA. He comes into OPA and he's like, is Quinn Perkins here? Is there a Quinn Perkins here? Apparently, so the story goes, Quinn left him a voicemail saying that she knew something about the blowing up of the plane and that she wanted to talk with him to reveal all. And so that becomes another piece of intel that they leverage. And again, we're investigating, we're going to locations, we're printing papers, we're putting it on the glass. LBJ, by the end of the episode, their information has been revealed that eliminates Glocklin from our primary list, number one, because we're figuring out that at the night in question, where he would have had to execute, the pieces of his plan, he was with Cyrus. He has an alibi. So Glocklin is technically no longer on our list, okay? We also, LBJ, we don't necessarily have any other people on our list at this point. We're just at the end, everybody's crying and just so forlorn. There's a little nugget, though, LBJ, that is also going on, which is Olivia constantly interfacing with Jake. Every time the team gets close to actually being on her tail, she's calling up Jake. Jake, listen. And she does her spitty voice. Jake, listen. I need you right now to erase that footage. They're going to get it. She's ordering Jake to and fro, LBJ. And so she's coordinating with Jake on the back end. And so that's basically what happened throughout the rest of the episode. It was OPA looking for Quinn and not finding her. I mean, by the end of the episode, we didn't even have any really great clues. The only thing we know is that there was some footage that Jake was able to uncover, LBJ, that, gave us a little bit of nugget about the timing of when she was nabbed. And as you mentioned earlier, the location, we think she was taken from an elevator. But other than that, LBJ, we got nothing but questions. Where's she at? Where's she at, LBJ?
Exactly. Like Boost Mobile, where's she at? So
where's she at?
Here's the thing.
Or from the 80s commercial, where's the beef? Where's the Quinn, LBJ?
Where's the Quinn?
Where's the Quinn?
Where's the Quinn? And we're looking for grass-fed beef and grass-fed Quinn, okay?
Shout me out in the chat, guys, if you guys remember that commercial. Do you guys remember that series of commercials? Where's the beef? LBJ, they were looking for the beef. They could not find it. We're looking for Quinn. Where's she at?
Absolutely. Now, here's the thing. We've got all these different scenarios and things going on here in our conversation live, as well as in the chat right there. So here's the thing. If you're in the chat, continue to put your theories down. Elect someone as the theory keeper. And we need to start tracking these theories. Who said them, the day that they said them, and then we need to start working through them and making something happen. Now, I say that to say, you presented your theories, Janiyah, right?
Oh, no. I have a theory I haven't shared.
Okay, here's the thing. My gut is saying pay attention to Olivia. It's 11:11, everybody, by the way. Make a wish, it's 11:11. So where's Olivia in this whole thing? Olivia has never tried to spin or halt any potential reveal this episode. Not. Olivia.
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Olivia has not tried to stop a reveal this entire episode. Like when they were watching the footage, she knows that she was there, Janiyah. She didn't try to slam the laptop shut or tell them, hey, stop looking. Who is there and what's your correction?
Hi, this is fact checker Fran.
Hey Fran, haven't seen one.
LBJ, Olivia was thwarting their investigation at every turn. She called Jake and had footage deleted. She partnered with Jake to deflect from the truth and created a potential, murderer, and that was a complete ruse. So she was absolutely trying to thwart the investigation. Okay, thank you. Bye.
But she's never seemed like to be shaking in her boots. And that's what I'm trying to point.
In the bathroom, LBJ?
Okay. All right.
What was that?
You got me right. Fran is back. She checked the facts and she got me right back on track. Thank you very much. That was my freestyle for the night. So scratch that, okay? Here's the thing. I want to point out, while I was talking about Olivia, that was good though. While I was talking about Olivia, I wanted to end my thought on Olivia with this. Olivia, many of you have said this in the chat. I've seen it over there. Many of you, along with me and folks online, are talking about Olivia really being in the middle. I will continue to say Olivia is literally caught between good and evil. And she has to make these decisions. And she is making them without any advice or any advice, and she's not able to think clearly, and she's not able to think like her mother or her father. So she is the best or the worst of both of them in this moment. And it's like good over here, evil over there, good over here, evil over there. And Olivia doesn't know what to do. And we have to continue to pay attention to the fact that Olivia, I keep blinking because my eyes are like spotty because of this light over here. I need to get some good lighting like you, Janiyah. However, you got that situation over there. That's pretty fantastic. So,
thank you. Hashtag IKEA lamp.
So
it was like $5. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
It works. It works.
Yeah.
So I think that we need to continue to pay attention to that because someone's going to tap into that and unlock something, and she's going to connect with either or. And it might be that it's an either or scenario where they are good and evil, but that imbalance or that perfect balance serves a greater purpose, and that's that Pope family.
Ooh. LBJ, you just raised 25 questions in my mind. Oh my God. That was so good, LBJ. Okay, I'm going to give my theory, LBJ. Okay. And guys, I've been monitoring the chat for someone to name this person as a suspect, and I don't think anyone did.
Breaking news. Breaking news. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, and listen.
From Janiyah Wright.
Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think anybody in the chat has named Jake as a suspect. Now, when Olivia was initially moving into her role as command, you will recall that there was at least a time or two where Jake did what he thought needed to be done because Olivia did not quite have her command skill sets in place just yet. Okay. Now, there was a moment in this episode right after Quinn revealed all the cards to Olivia. Olivia, you did it. You blew up the plane. I'm very disappointed. I'm investigating everything. After all of that, Olivia talked to Jake about it. And Jake said in a very aside way, we don't have to worry about Quinn, do we? And Olivia says, no, we don't. But the fact that Jake raised that question, LBJ, was for me all I needed to know, that Jake, he continues to question Olivia's judgment. I could completely see him saying, you know what, this is yet another one of these moments where Olivia is being too soft. Okay. And I could see him, LBJ, taking matters into his own hands, grabbing Quinn, putting her over in the closet somewhere, okay, and then partnering with Olivia, and Olivia thinking that she is partnering with Jake when really she is being deceived by Jake. That's my theory, LBJ. I say Jake is the kidnapper. Now, who is Jake working with? That's the part I don't have a theory about. Could it potentially be Papa Pope? Maybe. I don't know. Could it be, Papa Pope and Jake and Charlie? I don't know, LBJ. But there is something about Jake right now that puts him on my list of characters that cannot be trusted, at least as it relates to supporting Olivia. So LBJ, that is my theory on that. And LBJ, your visual, your whole screen, your audio, everything has disappeared. Okay, you're back. LBJ, you're back.
Yes, I'm back. I'm sorry. You didn't see my note. I said I have to plug in my computer. Keep talking. Sorry. I just got back. My computer's about to die.
I see. I was just going to keep, and I was keeping talking. I was talking so much, I couldn't even get to your note where you're telling me to keep talking. Everyone, LBJ blinked away for a minute. I was LBJ just pointing out my theory
about Jake.
That Jake is on the suspect list, LBJ. That's all I have to say. And part of it to me is relevant for the jam session, the scandal jam session of the night, which was
good segue. It was at last my love has come along.
My
lonely days are over.
Yes.
And you are mine at last.
Woo!
Don't tell me I can't sing.
LBJ, nobody's going to tell you that because they be lying. That was good. That was so good, LBJ. Because you know what?
Thank
That is not only a love song, LBJ. That is the wedding song of the universe. Okay. So that was a Scandal Jam session that played toward the end of the episode when no wedding had occurred. But when it was playing, do you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me that at the end of the day, as much as Olivia is relying on Jake, he is still a jilted lover. Okay. She left him on the beach, on the sand, right? Proverbially. Okay. And so LBJ, Jake, you're on my list. That's all I have to say, LBJ. That's my closing thought of the night. What about you, LBJ?
I love it.
Do you have any predictions or takeaways?
So listen, I love everything that you presented tonight. If I had that magical button with that applause again, I would take it. But my phone is dying as well, so I can't push that button. But I will say that you presented some very, very, very key things to think about and consider. As you said, I presented, I gave you 25 additional questions to ask.
Oh,
I think
so many.
Have a total of 125 questions. If we combine our two questions, both of our questions, with all the questions of the folks who were in the chat, who we love so much for participating tonight, and the folks who will watch this after we've gone off live. Now, listen, we try to reply back to you in the comments under the YouTube video, so make sure you leave your comments. We will be talking back to you this week. Janiyah has a day off tomorrow, I think, and if she does, she can spend time engaging with you on social media. She's had some wonderful ideas and theories to present to us tonight. Here's the thing. I think that we've got a couple of more episodes to go before everything is going to just explode. And then we're going to be stuck with the winter finale. It's going to get to one of those moments where...
LBJ, the winter finale is next week.
Is that for Grey's and Scandal or just that's for both of them?
Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I think they said that next week is the winter finale. I think that's it, LBJ.
I'm predicting there's going to be a tease of a character who is going to maybe tell something or turn. I think someone's going to go rogue if it's not already Jake. If it's not already Jake, somebody's going to go rogue either for like a QPA rogue, OPA rogue, or they're going to go rogue for selfish reasons rogue, and it's going to end up in death for them. So we've got to watch the key players, and I think that Marcus, as one of you brought out, is going to be moving into the White House soon.
Ooh, LBJ.
All over here. That generational curse.
LBJ, this chat was so good tonight. There was so much in the chat we didn't get to. I mean, LBJ, I wish we did have a roll call of all the theories. I mean, we had people, Mrs. Creole Davis throwing Fitz in as a suspect that he snatched up Quinn to protect Liv, his nectar. LBJ, there's so much to dissect here. This has been a good chat. It's been a very good chat
because it was an excellent episode. Thank you all so much, and Shondaland, for giving us this episode. And if you want to connect with other people like myself and Janiyah and everybody else in the chat and in the comments who love Scandal like we all love Scandal, save the date in 2018, May 25th and 28th through the 28th in New York City. There will be the final Gladiators Unite meetup. That will feature other YouTubers like us and bloggers and vloggers who love to talk about Scandal, as well as members of the cast and crew will also be present. There's a mention of the Grand Dame herself potentially making an appearance. But if you don't want to see her and you want to see us, myself and Janiyah will also be there. So save that date, May 25th through the 28th in New York City at the Millennium Hotel, the Hyatt Millennium Hotel. No, the Millennium Hilton Hotel.
LBJ, that's so good. I hope everybody comes. This was so great. It would be so wonderful to meet our chat community in person. That would be so amazing.
It really, really would.
Oh gosh, so much fun.
Well, listen, we've talked about everything tonight. You are more than welcome for a fun chat. Thank you for an engaging chat. Sorry, we started talking at the same time, and I think the video buffered itself. But listen, it's all good.
We're sleeping. Yeah, we're tired. We're tired.
We'll have a wonderful holiday weekend. Happy Veterans Day to all of our veterans. Thank you so much for your service. We love you, and we will see you next week for the winter finale. Somebody can correct if not. We got a couple more episodes, but the winter finale of season 7 of ABC Scandal.
Yay!
Bye.
Yay!